Atheist42 here, giving you my 2 cents on Brett Keane's 22-question Atheist Challenge. Yeah, it's really late, but hey, whatever, fuck it. Alright. I get my morality from the assumption that we all have free will. My morality is that any action that does not infringe on the free will of others is up for grabs. If you want to do it and you're not infringing on anyone else's free will, go ahead and do it. Fossil record. It's an extensive fossil record. None of the geological evidence supports the Christian creationist idea of a worldwide flood, so I'm going to go with the answer that has the most reason and logic involved. Occam's razor's a bitch. Enjoy myself as much as I can. Try and make the world a better place as much as I can. So I usually just tend to be an ear for them. Someone for them to come and talk to, bounce ideas off of, explain some of their troubles to, and I listen to them without judging who they are or what they're doing. If they've got this problem here, I'm willing to listen. I'll offer my advice. Chances are they won't listen, but hey, whatever. No, I wouldn't kill for atheism. If, my worst nightmare were to happen and the United States were to become a theocracy, so you convert to my religion or die, well then I'll kill for me to still be an atheist, but I'm not gonna go out there and try and force anybody else into it. So which one was the right one? Bottom line. Just curious. I'm going to hell either way, fuck it. The most dangerous religion in the past was Christianity. The most dangerous religion today is Islam, except for in the case of the United States, where it's probably still Christianity. Jainism, probably Buddhism, and of course my own personal philosophy, where I tend to be more Taoist than anything else. Ample evidence of God, evidence that can't be explained away by coincidence, or, since this seems to be a recurring problem, false information put forward by God believers. They're trying to say, hey look, this is evidence of God. Most of that is fraudulent. You can see right through it. It's bullshit. Fuck it. And this has to be objective information. It can't just be some subjective experience that somebody can turn around and say, well, that's why I believe in God, because that subjective experience doesn't mean squat to anybody but you. For the most part, I would say yes. However, I do believe that religion provides a moral structure or a social structure or what have you for people who have overinflated ids, Freudian id, and underdeveloped superegos. There's nothing there keeping them from going buck nuts crazy for Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, whatever. Best track record starts with their 12-step program, with their institutionalized religion, and blah 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 blah. For situations like that, I would say it's probably better than nothing. As a whole, however, I would say we'd probably be better off without it. I think the problem with government currently is the politics. In the United States is the only politics that I really closely pay attention to. But we've got a lot of major issues as far as campaign finance is concerned. We've got a lot of issues with the fact that somebody has to come up and say that they believe in God in order to get elected to any kind of position. That's a problem. These are issues that we need to have solved if we're going to have any kind of progress in government in this country. we don't know what could happen. We don't know what would come about as a result of such and such person being killed as a baby, no matter what. I don't care if they killed 6 million people or more. The consequences of going back and fucking with the time stream is probably more than we want to deal with. Because it can be used to help make sick people better. Bottom line. Well, I don't necessarily believe that anything really is evil. For me, what would be perceived as evil is systems extremely out of balance. If you're leaning too much one way or leaning too much the other way, and you're not in some kind of a moderate position, then that is where, quote unquote, evil lurks. So therefore I think the extremist views of abortion is where the problem is, not with abortion itself. There are situations that call for it, bottom line. I don't care what gear upset. I'm an American. The first president of this country said, do not torture captured enemy soldiers. We're supposed to be a beacon and a light to this world about how great democracy is. I think that is a perfectly legitimate stance to hold. There's no circumstances that call for torture, especially when, on a worldwide level, we've agreed that it's unnecessary, does not provide good information, and illegal as a result. I say we should try to, as humanity, we should try and keep our impact on the environment reduced as much as possible. In situations where we are causing the extinction of animals, yes, I think we should try to make some kind of effort to keep that from happening. However, natural selection got us where we're at. Some species just aren't worth saving, especially if it's a situation of them dying out because of not being able to adapt to their environment, assuming, of course, that these changes in the environment are not man-made changes. Yeah, I approve of capital punishment. Not this, sentence them and sit them in prison for 20, 30 years and then execute them. Fuck that. They are guilty of a crime where the sentence could be capital punishment. Stick them in there for 2 or 3 weeks, give governor, president, whatever, enough time to decide whether or not they should be, given some reprieve or pardon. If the decision hasn't been made in those 2 or 3 weeks, it's not going to get made. Awful. I wouldn't necessarily classify aliens as a supernatural phenomenon. That's one where I'm willing to say, I don't know. As far as ghosts, spirits, etc., 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 since science doesn't deal with the supernatural, I've had my own personal subjective experiences. So for me, I believe in the possibility. Even with the chance of going to hell for being an atheist part doesn't even matter. Yes, I would sacrifice myself for a loved one. Organs stop working. When the brain stops working and none of it's starting back up, you're dead. No. I happen to entertain the idea of reincarnation, then yes, but for the here and now, the stuff that's relevant, no. Well, that's been my response to Brett Keane's 22-question atheist challenge. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.